Yeah, it's funny. As an investor in technology, you think there's a technical skill required and there's a financial skill required,
Mm.
but really it's a lot of just imagination.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, in 1971, when the Intel 4004 processor, I guess the first single chip processor, was introduced. It had 2,300 transistors on it, and it was, I think it cost, $60, which would be a lot more in today's money. But a couple cents per transistor. And
Right.
the latest Apple processor has, 130 billion
Yeah. Yeah.
transistors
Something
on it.
crazy.
So when you go from 2,300 transistors to, like, you can't forecast what's going to happen, but as the price per unit continues to drop, it just opens up new markets. Um, and it's a trend, and you just have to,
Mhm.
you kind of, as an investor, you have to believe that trend is unfolding. And I think that's what Hashgraph is, that kind of seminal moment in DLTs, where you take the price of a transaction from, dollars, for some networks, and variable, and you drop it down to, consensus at 1/100th of a penny, and fixed.
Right.
And that's got the same effect, as dropping the price of transistors in semiconductors. It opens up new markets. Atma would not, Avery Dennison would not build Atma if it was, you know, 40 cents a transaction today,
And
and
fluctuating.
a buck, and some of these other, some of the IoT, and some of these other applications. I mean, you can't scan the QR code of a, zucchini in the store, because you want to see if it's truly, organic, and then, suddenly it was $1.50 to
Yeah.
that transaction. Those applications just don't exist,
Yeah.
until you get something like Hashgraph, which, you know provide scale, the fixed pricing. I've always been kind of, I kind of look at a lot of the white paper claims and the Twitter claims that people make about DLT capacity, and what these guys can do in testnet and all the other kind of things. You just look at the pricing model. I mean,
Mm.
if you can't offer fixed USD pricing, then you obviously have some capacity limitations somewhere, and that's why you have variable pricing. Um,
Right.
it's that fixed pricing model, I think, that is the low fixed cost.
Secret sauce.
Yeah, it's what makes, Web3 is a disruptive technology, but it's getting those Web3 technologies into Web2 companies is where the disruption really happens.
Hmm.
Web3 sitting in, DeFi kind of casino playgrounds, where you're thinking you're going to disintermediate all those Web2 companies. That's not really, where the disruptive innovation happens. It's the developing the tools that get Web3 technologies into Web2. And I think that's what Hedera is. I mean, you look at the stablecoin studio, the real world asset studio, um, um, the NFT studio. You look at a lot of the different open source tools that are now being developed. It's Hashgraph, as the enabler, and now it's developing all these tools that kind of bridge to the Web2 companies. So
Absolutely. I saw someone post on X the other day that kind of got me thinking. They posted the phrase, Moore's Law squared. And I think it was someone, it might have been the CEO of Anthropic or some kind of AI company, but you do get that sense that, like, as you've mentioned, we have a hockey stick moment of innovation, but now it's like the hockey stick is like going straight